What the hell? This looks like my room, but there's something different about this. Let's figure out where I am. The doors are locked. Well, I should have expected this. And what is this? Some kind of prison that looks like my bedroom? Was I put here after Jonathan defeated me or something? What's going on here? No, but I have created this place, so you and I can finally have a talk. What the? Who? Wait, you look familiar. Have we met before? Yes, indeed. I was always there for you in the spirit. And you could see me ever since your father died and you inherited his deck. Just like you started to see your dual spirits back then. Then, after that incident last year in the underground dueling, we were pushed back all the way somewhere in the back of your mind and we couldn't come in contact with you. Not your dual spirits, not I, not anything. Huh? Duel Guardian, is that right? I remember you. You're the one who gave me my father's deck. And you told me so much about... Wait, I do not understand. Where have you been this... Oh, you just told me where... this hurts. This hurts my brain. I lost the duel against Jonathan, I lost my black room, and now this is happening. Like, where even am I? I know for the fact that this isn't my room. It just doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's a completely different place. Like, how did you create this? Well, I'm a Duel Guardian, that much you know, and I'm not just the Duel Guardian, I'm one of many. We are basically one same species that is created solely for the purpose of guarding things. Something as simple as like a bandana or a deck of a strong duelist, to something as like you, a human, or something as big as, I don't know, cards like the Sacred Beasts, for example. Oh, and we also have powers to create pocket dimensions between inside of your mind, mostly when you're unconscious. We can create these little pocket dimensions so we can have a talk to people. Like you, for example, people that a Duel Guardian is assigned to protect. Okay, but what are we doing here exactly? Where am I? Am I dead or something? I mean, the last thing I remember is I lost to Jonathan, and I lost both of my dragons. I lost my Black Rose and Stardust Spark Dragon there. Like, well, I don't know if I did, but it most likely is the case since that's what Jonathan was after, so it's most likely that's what he took. On the contrary, actually. Not only did he let you live, but also he was unable to take your Stardust Spark Dragon since you have already bonded with him spiritually. You would have bonded with Black Rose eventually, but that just wasn't the case in this situation, sadly. First of all, good. Stardust Spark Dragon is still with me, that's a good thing. I still lost my Black Rose. And what do you mean by connecting with it spiritually? And what do you mean he'll let me live? Wasn't his whole plan just take all my and my friends' dragons and then kill us? Like, so we don't get in his way? Like, what's happening here? Well, it wasn't his plan. It was somebody else's plan, and his intention, personally his intention, was never really to kill you or your friends. Only make it seem like he did, so he can, he can fool the real mastermind behind all of this. Oh, this is a lot to take in. Whose plan was it anyway? Well, actually, before you start explaining, I'd like to apologize for what happened back 2 years ago in 2012 when I was dueling in the underground. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I saved my mom, but in that, I also took lives of so many people. One of them even came back to haunt me and beat me. And I lost ties with you as well. I should have never let that happen. I never should have went to underground dueling. And worst of all, even though I saved her 2 years ago, she still died in a car crash. You know, one thing I've learned from you humans, specifically from your father, is the fact that you should never blame yourself for things that are outside of your control. Did you know what was going to happen in the underground there? No, you haven't. Did you know that your mother was going to die in a car crash just a year later? No, you didn't. There are forces outside of your control that determine your destiny, and the destiny of people around you. What happened there wasn't your fault at all. I guess you're correct. But still, it doesn't really give me an excuse to hurt other people like that, even if it's not really me. Even if it's forces outside of my control. It's still not correct. Not to mention, even Jonathan came after me. He came back from the dead, and now I lost. He got back at me. He almost killed me. Even though you would really have to explain me, if it wasn't his intention to kill me, then what's going on here? I'm willing to listen. Well, there is a lot of things that I need to explain to you. If you want to understand what exactly is going on, I'll have to explain you the whole history of our universe. I'll try to put it in as shortest terms as I possibly can. I'll also leave out a lot of details so we can get to basic things that you need to know. But before I do that, I do want to explain to you that Jonathan never held an actual grudge against you. Maybe at first, but really he was fighting for the same reason as you did, to save a loved one. So really it was either you or him there. So you two are kind of on the same page on that one. If that's the case, then I'm willing to listen. This might also shed the light on what exactly happened there. Like, also, how do you know so much about Jonathan? If you're my Duel Guardian, then how exactly do you know more about Jonathan than me? Simple. We Duel Guardians are like a giant hive mind. What one Duel Guardian sees and hears, the others will as well. Jonathan has had his own Duel Guardian, until he inherited stuff that were left behind by his parents from him, which is the same thing that I did for you, and the thing that I'm going to repeat. There's a lot more cards from your father's deck that you did not inherit because you weren't ready at the time, but now I know that you are. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, thank you for shedding some light on that, but history of the whole universe. I'm willing to listen, but let me just first mentally prepare for whatever you're going to say. Give me a second. Okay, I think I'm ready. Shoot! Alright, let's go back at the beginning. It all begins in a blank space. Nothing. Before the multiverse was created, before the first universe was created, and there existed one singular, all-seeing, powerful being. We'll simply call him God. Just a shape, bright shape without a physical body, visible to a mortal mind. He wanted to give life to this blank place. He saw a lot of potential in it. But he couldn't do it alone, which is why he started by creating two creatures that drank life, two disciples. They were known as Astral and the Azure Dragon. The Azure Dragon and Astral started shaping the universe, creating ground and flowers, all kinds of life forms in the universe, on all planets. Astral would create physical bodies and everything else, while as the Azure Dragon would give them life. But this took a big toll on God. because they were using some of his power as well. Which is why he knew that after a while, his time will come to an end. And with that in mind, he started writing something known as the Symphony of the Universe. Following that symphony, the life goes by the way that symphony is written. Everything that we do in life has been written in the symphony, the way that we live our lives. It's all already pre-written. But sadly, that symphony was never finished. God lost all his power and energy to continue. So the last thing he did before he disappeared, he told Astro and the Azure Dragon one thing, a prophecy. Since his Symphony of the Universe was never finished, he said that whoever shows up to be and whoever is worthy enough to finish the symphony will be allowed to do it. So whoever finishes the symphony, the universe will bend in their own image. With that in mind, Astro and the Azure Dragon hit by many, and I mean very many locks and puzzles and tracks and all that somewhere deep within the universe. Even maybe somewhere deep in the multiverse. We don't know yet. We don't know that much, or at least my kind doesn't know that much. So the first batch of beings that were created were dual spirits. They were created in an opposite reality of yours, basically coexisting with you. Think of it as a world that you can only see if you get the right frequency, shall we say. So basically they all exist simultaneously with us, as well as their world. If something were to break that barrier, that would cause major chaos, but so far, nothing in the future is really telling me that that's going to happen. The next beings that were created were you humans. You humans, well, this was all created before God's passing, and the creation of humans is what made him start writing the symphony. Because humans were waging a lot of wars against each other, fighting to the death most of the time. And God tried to minimize that by simply creating a simple game which involves the creatures from the other side, the dual spirits. He created the game you now know as Duel Monsters, which is why all the major conflict in history of you humans has been mostly decided by this simple game that you nowadays play. It sounds a bit stupid to say the least, but it's a lot more rational than shedding blood. Unfortunately, as well as God, there was existing one thing besides just God before the multiverse was created, and that's the balance of chaos. Good cannot exist without evil, and evil cannot exist without good. Which is why once God created his Azure Dragon and Astro in the universe, there have been created two opposite deities, dark deities, basically lords of hell. They were known as Ultimate Tzolk'in and Dawn Thousand. Basically, they were the devil and Satan of our universe, or our multiverse, however you would like to say it. And they used the dual monsters to their own advantage, trying to cause chaos and destruction. They have created what we now know as the Shadow Games. Basically, the loser dies. So even when God tried to minimize the conflict and the casualties of the conflict, there were still forces outside of his own control that he could not stop. So basically, there has been a war between humans and the Dawn Thousand and Ultimate Tzolk'in. Among all else, there have also been 4 special tribes existing in the world of humans. The tribes of mechanics, shall we call them. They were known as the Ritual tribe, Fusion Tribe, Synchro Tribe, and Exist Tribe. Synchro and Exist Tribe were the ones who were worshipping Zerd Dragon and Astral the most. So once Zolkin and 1000 decided to start creating wars using demons and also using other humans against them, they have created something for the respective tribes to use. The Zerd Dragon gave the Synchro tribe cards known as the Duel and Signer Dragons. Almost all of them were Synchros except Dragon Necro. Nobody really knows why that was the case. And also he created 3 more special cards that go into that category again. They were known as the Dragons of Balance. The Dragon of Chaos, Light and Darkness Dragon. The Dragon of Pure Light, Light End Dragon. And Dragon of Pure Darkness, Dark End Dragon. To also give a little help. Also, Light and Darkness Dragon was for some reason an effect monster instead of a Synchro, which is also weird, but we don't know why that is as well. As for Astral, for the Exist tribe, he created the number monsters, the Exist monsters that have their own specific numbers. Along with those, they have created their own disciples, learning from their old master, God. They figured that if they want to win this war, they will need a bit of help of beings that are as strong as them or just a bit below them, which is why they created their own disciples to lead the 2 tribes to battle. For Astral, that was the 100th number 100, Numeron Dragon. And for the Zerd Dragon, that was the card that you use, Stardust Cipher, Divine Dragon, who during battle evolved into an even stronger monster, but that is going to happen a bit later. During the battle, Fusion and Ritual Tribe felt a bit left out, because they didn't really have deities that they were worshipping themselves. So they really didn't have gods, something to call gods of their own mechanics, which is why they decided to create their own artificial gods. We will come back to that later, but for now, there is an important thing that happened. After 1000 saw that the Zerd Dragon and Astral have created their own powerful cards to give to humans, he gave his Barian generals some interesting cards. Intrigued by the idea of number monsters, he created 4 fake numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also created 7 Barian numbers, known as the over 100 numbers 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, and 107. However, this backfired drastically, as after his Barian generals were defeated and destroyed, the Exist tribe, or as we're going to call them, the number users, they took the cards, and they decided to use the power of Numeron Dragon and the power of Astral within him to basically purify those cards, so they could use them to their own advantage. So basically, 1000 created the cards that are going to lead to his defeat even faster. Seeing this happen, Tolkien learned from his colleague, shall we say, and decided to, instead of creating his own cards to use, he decided to take from the Dragon Warriors, or the Synchro tribe, shall we call them. He took one of the Dual Dragons and one of the Dragons of Balance, and he gave them to 2 of his 3 generals. Well, the 3rd general didn't mind though. He's a bit laid back, so he didn't really care. The 3 generals were known as Despair, Scar, and Avenger. Avenger got Beals of the Diabolic Dragons, and Scar got Dark End Dragon. During the later development of the conflict, the Fusion and Ritual tribe decided to join, during the battle to be more specific. because they finally created their own artificial gods. They were known as Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid and Supreme King Zark. But not only did they have created their own gods, they have created two new mechanics. One based of combining together other monsters using magic and combining other abilities using magic, and the other one based on evolution. You see, the Fusion tribe decided to create creatures known as pendulum monsters. They will come out very soon, actually. They were the combination of using spell and the monsters. Some monsters that they were been using were a bit too volatile because they had too much power within them, which is why they figured that if they combine something like a spell card with a monster, they're going to restrain the power of that monster, allowing it to use one type of power in one form and the other type of power in a second form, which would be its spell form. And using that, they have managed to combine 4 different summoning mechanics, including those pendulums, of course, being one of those 4, into a being that is the combination of 4 different mechanics. Supreme King Dragon Zark. I could go a bit into detail of how that happened, but as I already told you, I'm going to keep it brief so you can understand all this better. Same goes for Dark Fluid. Dark Fluid is something known as a link monster. Link monsters, instead of being created by magic, they were actually being created by science and evolution. The Ritual tribe tried to bypass the limits that the ritual monsters had behind ritual spells and stuff like that by seeing if they can evolve those monsters into something stronger. And they managed to do it. They have created an evolution of ritual monsters, one that no longer has restriction of ritual spells, known as the Link monsters. Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid was the first one they created, although it became Dark Fluid after its first form helped them a little bit to advance their technology and create more evolutions of ritual monsters, and they show their thanks by giving him more power, combining him with more power of ritual monsters and fusion synchro and disease. So basically what the Fusion tribe did with Zark, except instead of using pendulums, they used more ritual power. And that is how those two were created. Artificial gods, but gods nonetheless. So, during the conflict, 1000 and Tzolk'in decided to enter the conflict personally, fighting. But during the conflict, Tzolk'in actually betrayed 1000, sucking all of his power into him, taking all of his power and transforming into a more powerful being, known as Bishbalkin. As that happened, Tzolk'in was left vulnerable. So the Synchro and Xyz tribe decided to take the advantage of the moment. They knew it wasn't really noble, but while he was vulnerable, they destroyed 1000 and the rest of his Barian army. But that did not stop Tzolk'in, who not only himself got more powerful, but his demons and his demon army, including his generals, have become even more powerful. Which led to the gods of mechanics, that being Dark Fluid, Zark, Cypher, and the Numeron Dragon, and to finally take a stand and fight themselves. So far they were mostly supporting the other tribes in battle, but now it was apparent to them that they have to enter conflict, which led Cypher to evolve into an even more powerful being known as Shooting Quasar Dragon. The battle was great, but the gods of mechanics were losing the power quickly. Learning from the one that came before them, Azure Dragon and Astral knew that if they wanted to prevent all of this, they needed to have a sacrifice. So what they did was they sacrificed themselves and their power, lending them to the gods of mechanics, basically turning them into new gods. And with that kind of power, they have managed to create their own disciples now, with the Azure Dragon giving most of his power to Shooting Quasar Dragon, evolving him even further into a creature of absolute cosmic power, Cosmic Blazar Dragon. With that in mind, they have created their own disciples to help them in battle. Numeron Dragon created 2 number 99s. Well, there was already Utopic Dragon, but he created a second one just to give him a little backup, known as Utopic Dragoneer. Quasar has created a being known as Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. Zark has created 4 dragons known as the Supreme King Dragons, Odd Eyes, Starving Venom, Clearwing, and Dark Rebellion. And finally, Dark Fluid has created his own disciples, one of each summoning mechanic just like Zark. They had a lot in common besides being artificial gods, as you probably noticed. So he created a fusion monster known as Cyber's Clock Dragon, Ritual Monster, Cyber's Wizard, Synchro Monster, Cyber's Quantum Dragon, and Xyz Monster that goes by that shares the name with Dark Fluid, known as Firewall Exceed Dragon. And with this power, not only did the 4 tribes and the gods of mechanics and their disciples manage to stop Tolkien, but defeat him altogether. Sadly, even though Tolkien was defeated at the time, he still managed to curse the 4 tribes. From that point on, after their descendants after they create their own descendants, they will all perish over time in unpredictable ways. Tolkien never stated when or how they would die, leaving them in suspense, always leaving them to think and be afraid of how and when they're going to perish, just to torture them mentally for defeating him, until the day he can finally return, take over the world, and destroy the descendants of all the number users, the dragon warriors, and everybody else. Which leads us to this day. Your father was inheritor of the Cosmic Blazar Dragon. You currently hold the spiritual form. See, not only did he gain its powers, but he had to limit himself because he was a bit too powerful, and only allow those powers when it's absolutely needed, which is why he split himself into 3 forms. The spiritual form being number 1, the one that you currently use, Stardust Cypher Divine Dragon, which also, by the way, is the reason why he's basically bigger than the Earth, and why his attacks don't really have any effect on the environment, or really anything else they hit. It's all spiritual energy rather than any kind of physical interaction. His second form, Shooting Quasar Dragon, which holds a lot more power. And then finally Cosmic Blazar Dragon, his final god form. And that all leads us today. Tolkien has taken advantage of few of the dragon warriors and number users, and starting with Jonathan first, of course, and then Jonathan collecting all the others, you know, like Ryan Rels, for example. Well, you already know him. I see. Well, if that is the case, then... Well, actually, there's nothing left for me to say. I completely understand everything. So basically, I'm one of them. Does that mean that Daniel is also one of them? Is Sam one of them? Is Zach one of them? Like, you have to tell me who can I really trust here. Okay, I know I can trust my friends and all that, but, you know, there's probably other people I have to trust. Like, what about other dragon warriors and other number users? What about members of the fusion and Xyz tribe and the ritual tribes? And I know you left out the details, so you can, tell me basically this whole story as best as you could. But there's still some things you kind of need to explain to me. That's understandable. Yes, your friends are dragon warriors and are number users. In fact, you and Daniel are both. Your mother was a number user, and your father was a dragon warrior. I still have possession of your mother's deck, her Xyz deck to be more specific. However, you don't need to have it yet. If you ever need it, I will find you and give you the option of taking it. But as for now, it is not really needed. But what you do need to do is beat me in a duel, so you can get the rest of your father's inheritance. Not all of it is yours, some of it is Daniel's. I figured that you should win for both of them, for both you and him. Although, I do have to tell you something that you probably didn't notice, but your brother has a bit of doubts about himself since, you are basically the strongest one in the family currently, which leaves him a bit in your shadow, even though you're not making it feel that way. You're always there for him and helping him, but that doesn't really help him develop as a person. You might want to help him stop doubting himself a bit. And another thing. There's one thing that I left out, but I figure I should tell you right now. Basically, you and your friend Sam, your family has a long history of rivalry. Let's just say that Red Dragon Archfiend and Stardust never really got along as much as you and Sam do right now. And just so you know, you won't really have to explain this to Zach, Daniel, or Sam, because their own Duel Guardians are currently explaining it to them while they're currently unconscious, because, as you know, they were also defeated. But basically, you and Sam will have to inherit some more stuff. I already told you about you, but Sam also has some inheritance that he needs to get. More specifically, a whole deck. A whole Red Dragon Archfiend deck. He has proven himself to be a very powerful Red Dragon Archfiend duelist, even though he wasn't using a Red Dragon Archfiend focused deck. More specifically, a Red Eyes deck. But his Duel Guardian is a bit more senile. Even though we're basically all like a big hive mind, we're still kind of like you humans and your dual spirits. We all have our own personalities and problems. So basically, Sam's Duel Guardian doesn't really know who he should give the inheritance to. For years now, he has been giving a card known as Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend to many people. Last year he gave it to some nobody who lost against the person who saved you currently and your friends by calling a hospital. And he failed miserably, of course. Now that we found you and I finally came in contact with you, you and Sam need to duel us. It won't be a tag duel, it will be two separate duels. You versus me and Sam versus him. To see if you two can get the rest of the inheritance that you two deserve. You will need it in the battle against Zolkin, because the battle has just begun, and there's still a lot more that's going to happen. And it's better that I get started right away, because who knows, maybe Zolkin figures out that I'm still alive. And maybe he sends some kind of attack at us or something like that, so... when am I supposed to wake up exactly? Well, you should have woken up a long time ago. But it was me who was keeping you asleep. This was the only way I could come in contact with you, because again, you basically pushed me back into the deepest parts of your mind, just like all your dual spirits. Which is why becoming unconscious was the only way I could get through to you. Although the first one who got to you was Junk Synchron, but that was due to the fact that you were suffering a lot of damage in a shadow game by Ryan Reynolds, which is what allowed him to come in contact with you. I'm sure you two have a lot to catch up to, not to mention that you have people waiting for you on the other side to wake up. But before I leave, and before you wake up, there's something I'd like to give you. Oh, is that a fedora? I like those. Well, yes, this used to belong to your dad. I was keeping it for you. I figured now is as good a time as any to give it to you. So, here you go. Looks nice. I like it. I always wanted to have a fedora. I guess I just don't remember enough of my dad, considering the fact that he died when I was very young. But I guess if anything else, I share my love for fedoras with him. You're correct on that one. And I just want to say that I know Vincent was definitely a good father for you for this past year, but I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you when your mother died. I can't really imagine how you felt then. Basically committing a homicide for nothing. 2 years ago, you managed to save her from her illness, and just a year later she dies from something like a car crash. I cannot understand how that must feel for you. Mostly because we Duel Guardians can't really feel emotions, but we can still feel sorry for something like that. So, I'm going to let you go now. You should probably meet 2 people that have helped you. Trust me, they're good people. Try making friends with them. Yeah, well, thanks for explaining everything, and that's fine. It's understandable. I mean, it's not really your fault I pushed you away, so I should be the one apologizing for that one. Well, I guess it's time for me to go now, am I right? Yes, but before I let you go, one more thing. That test that me and the Sam's Duel Guardian are going to do will be happening in the realm of Duel Guardians. In order to get there, you will need to open a portal, and for that, you will need to collect enough Duel energy. My suggestion is that you and Sam either get into a battle royale against 2 other people, or tag duel against 2 other people to open up a portal. So with that in mind, I'm going to let you now go. Goodbye, Duki. It was nice seeing you again. I hope to see you soon. Thanks for everything, Duel Guardian. See you around. Where am I? Who are you two?
Relax. We're the ones who saved you and your friends from near death next to that hotel, you know.
Oh, well, thank you then.
You're welcome. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Lumiere. And you don't have to introduce yourself to me because I did my research on you because I needed to know who the Jonathan guy was after.
Okay then, and who are you?
Jamie Nolan. I came here because of that guy who sent those people after me for my Blackfeather Dark Range dragon. After that first attack from Vlad, I did some research on the Duel and Cyber dragons. Turns out there have been people who've been seeking them that have gone after others who had them. And I saw that you were their main target. So I figured I might as well come here and get some answers. If I found you, that is.
I see. Well, I do have explanation for some stuff. I have a lot of explanation.
Holy crap, I thought you would never wake up.
Junk Synchron, it's you!
Holy crap, I thought this Duel Guardian guy will never be done with this exposition crap.
Fair enough. I'm happy to see you too.
Duki? Hello? Are you okay?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to Junk Synchron inside my head.
Okay, my friend, I think you hit your head when you fell after your loss to Jonathan.
I believe him.
What?
I said I believe him in talking to Joe Synchron.
Oh, so you have a dual spirit of your own?
Something like that, I suppose.
I see. Well, I guess I should probably explain what happened while I was unconscious, because while I was unconscious, I was inside of my head, talking to a being known as the Duel Guardian. He told... Oh, what the fuck?
What the hell?
Oh god. Oh god. Duki, are you okay?
What the... Vincent?
Duki, who is this?
Oh, this is Vincent. He used to be a higher-ranking member of Sector Security, and well, he recently became a Lancer. He was also a long-time friend of my parents before they died. So after they died, he essentially adopted me and my brother Daniel. So basically, he's our stepdad at this point.
It's Tornado.
What are you doing here?
Well, I was in the middle of a Lancer-related mission, and then I got the news of what happened to you, Daniel, and your friends, and as soon as I heard that, I rushed to finish the mission as soon as I possibly can, making a lot of reckless moves in the process, which kinda led to a lot of my partners getting hurt, and as soon as I was done with that mission, I was rushing here to see if I can find you. Oh god, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there for you and Daniel when you needed me.
It's alright, dude. I mean, being a Lancer is not an easy job, so it's understandable.
Duki, why is a dangerous criminal in the same room as you?
A dangerous criminal?
Whoa, listen here, just because Rocher is my old partner doesn't mean that...
He's talking about me, fool.
What?
I didn't tell you this, but I'm the leader of the Dragonia gang, one of the largest gangs in the world, and known throughout as well.
Oh my god!
Explain yourself, criminal!
Wait, no conflict here. We are all on the same side here, understood?
Huh?
Jamie and Lee here saved me, Daniel, Zach, and Sam. Once we lost our duels, we were unconscious, and when they found out, they called a hospital to pick us up. Basically, they saved our lives.
Oh. Well, I guess that I have to thank you then.
And those guys are after me as well. And considering we share a common enemy, if I deem any of you worthy, then you shall have a powerful ally. Then again, you guys lost. So I'm not sure if any of you are that worthy.
Well then why are you still here? The door is here. Just go out. Or even better, there's the window. Jump out the window.
I'm still willing to help because you seem like tough bastards. And despite the fact that you lost, you're still alive and kicking. So I'm willing to give you a chance to prove to me that you deserve my help, that you are worthy of it.
Very well then.
Fine enough. Also, two things. First of all, where did you get that fedora from, Duki? It looks familiar.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a moment, but first, what else did you want to say?
Well, I'm not alone here. I came here with a classmate of yours. I was running faster up the stairs, which is why he's not here yet. He should be here in any second now.
Classmate? Who could... Wait, is it?
Hello? Is this the right room, Vincent?
Hey then!
Oh, Duki! Oh, thank God you're alive. I was worried about what happened.
Yup, I'm still kicking.
Whew. That's great to hear, but I feel very crowded in this room, I have to say.
Yeah, it is. Well, besides coming here to visit me, is there any other particular reason you're here?
Well, I heard what happened, and I was thinking that I could help you with this Jonathan guy and everything.
Well, are you sure though? I mean, it's not that safe. You know what happened to me and the others, right?
Yeah, I know that, but I think I could still help you, Duki. I mean, my deck has gotten a lot of support, and I'm planning to kick some ass with it.
Very well, alright then. Well, I suggest you all to sit down. This is going to be a long story, you see. While I was unconscious, inside of my head, I met the being known as the Duel Guardian, which is a being that I've been in contact for a very long time until I lost all contact with it. And he explained me a lot. He told me a very long story about the whole universe. The whole history of the universe. There's so much that he told me about. It's a very big story, and I'm pretty sure that's enough info for us to, understand what's happening here. So we'll sit down and listen to me carefully. And that's all he told me. It's a very big story, and quite unbelievable, isn't it?
You're the chosen one! You freaking lost!
Hey, shut up, jerk! Don't be mean to him! Do you have any idea what this means to him and what he's gone through right now?
It's alright, Aiden. He's right. I'm supposed to be the chosen one and I still lost. I really need to improve myself. And to do that, I'll need to pass the test in the realm of Duel Guardians. And to do that, we'll need to find a way to get there, to open the portal to that place. Well, I find all of this hard to believe, but the things that I've been through as a member of Sector Security previously, and as now a Lancer, I think the things that I've been through tell me otherwise, so, yeah, I'm willing to listen to all of this, and to believe in it.
Okay, listen, I am the science guy here and all that, so I find all of this pretty hard to believe, so, yeah. But I'm still willing to help, because somebody needs to fix the wrongs of my friend Rocher, and since he's not the one who's going to do it, I will have to do it instead.
I ain't helping with that.
What? But Jamie, we need to do this if we want to defeat Zolkin!
Listen, buddy, don't get me wrong. I'm still willing to help, but I'm not going to help anyone get more powerful than I am. If anyone is going to get more powerful, it's me.
Huh? I knew we couldn't trust him. He's a goddamn criminal!
You wanna go, Lancer? Because we can go right now.
Maybe some other time. Now I have no time to deal with you.
Suit yourself.
Well, I guess I have to now inform Lancers and Sector Security about this. But before I go and do that, there is something else that I need to tell all of you. What is it, Vincent? Well, I have some new info regarding the new rules that will be implemented in the game starting tomorrow.
Huh?
New
rules?
Well, first of the new rules is, due to the fact that some people wanted to play on 4,000 life points, the Industrial Illusions decided that some countries will be playing on 8,000 life points, while others will be playing on 4,000 life points. And due to the fact that a lot of countries, like more than 50% of countries that were playing on 4,000 life points were complaining that those were too short, from now on, the rest of the world will also be playing on 8,000 life points. This was done to shut up all of those anime watchers that, just wanted to play on 4,000 life points instead of 8,000 to be more accurate to the show.
Well, that's nothing new to me. In England, I play by those exact same rules, except for that time I dueled Vlad. I guess he was bringing a bit of home field advantage with him.
Well, yeah. But this next rule, it's probably going to piss off Duki the most.
Oh?
Why me? Yeah, you might want to continue sitting down. You see, from now on, during the first turn of the duel, the turned player will not be drawing for their turn.
Are you serious?
Well, that's stupid.
Oh, come on, that's stupid! Like, all of my decks are so crap. My decks need the draw!
I have no comment on this shit.
Yeah, that's not all. There have also been changes to the tag duel rules. Please tell me the tag duel rules will be better than whatever the hell this first turn draw thing was. I'll let you be the judge of that. Thanks to some implementations on dual discs thanks to Duel Corp's work, now when a tag partner places a card on their dual disc, the dual disc of the other player in the tag team will display a holographic image in the same column where the tag partner places their own cards. So, for example, if I were to place a card here on the dual discs, on my dual disc, my tag partner will have a holographic display on his dual disc on the same spot. So and also, when a player would open their graveyard or banner zone to see their cards, they can all do that holographically, which means now they can also look at, when they look at their graveyard and banner zone, now they will be also able to see their partner's banished cards and cards in their graveyard. Which means the only things that are to your own are your hands, your decks, and your extra decks. Everything else you share with your tag partner or tag partners. So, well, that's that.
Huh. I see. That does make things more interesting. And easier. For example, usually you would have to wait for everyone else to have a turn. However, since we share a field, we can at least attack now that if we get a monster on the field. Unlike that stupid rule before.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a lot easier for all players to follow the game because the whole tag partner thing is going to make it a lot easier for players to remember what's on both players' field and in graveyards.
Not to mention, now you don't have to rely on your partner to either protect you or to make more plays with their cards, because now when your turn starts, you have complete control over all of your cards and all the cards that your partner left you in on the field, in the graveyard, and in the banish zone. So basically, you're in full control of everything. Yes, exactly.
Well, that does make tag duels easier. However, it's still shame about the first turn draw rule. It still sucks.
Well, it's Industrial Illusions. What can I do about it? Wait, Industrial Illusions? I thought they called themselves Konami now. Yeah, they changed it back to Industry of Illusions. The Konami name didn't really stick well with them, which is why they changed back. Well, anyway, I should probably be on my merry way now. I have to inform Lancers and Sector Security about the situation. We'll be okay, Vincent. It's Tornado. Also, Nolan.
What?
Please, watch over Duki for me.
Do I look like a babysitter to you?
Yes, bye now.
Why you? Fine. I watch over you, Duki, but only because we are allies in this war, and nothing more.
I don't need a goddamn babysitter.
Well, correct me if I'm mistaken, because considering your last performance against Jonathan, I'd say that you do need a babysitter, Duki.
Yes, I must agree on that one.
Oh, fine.
So what now, guys?
Well, Aiden, now we wait for Sam to wake up so we can tell him the whole story, and then we'll have to find a way to get to the world of Duel Guardians. And since Jamie doesn't want to help us because he's egotistical,
screw you.
You and Lee will have to duel against me and Sam in order to get enough duel energy to open the portal.
Alright, I think we'll probably have a duel in the span of a few days. I really hope that we can do this. I got some new support for my deck, and if we get enough dual energy, we can open the portal.
Well, I don't know if I'm strong enough to help with this, but I'll try my hardest to help you get to the world of Duel Guardians.
We can only hope, guys. I need to fix my deck. Since I lost my Black Rose Dragon, I need to find a new way to, like, do something, I don't know. To find my Black Rose now again.
Jamie Nolan. I came here because of a dickhead who sent freaking guys after me to steal my dual dragon. Fucking idiots.
What? Well, fuck. That was way back. Indeed you do. I was basically a god through most of your life after your parents died. After your father died. And also... Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Jesus. I'm willing to tell you the whole story of how we got to this point. If you want to continue your fight... fuck. Burp. Simple. As I already told you, we Duel Guardians are basically all one being who is split in multiple pieces. Basically like a giant hive mind. I see what all the other Duel Guardians see, I hear what all the other Duel Guardians hear, and everything else. I can see a Duel Guardian in the future losing to a pendulum player in front of a pyramid. I can see... I see the whole future. Okay, that's a bit spoilery, so repeat. Well, yes, this one used to belong to your father. I just kept it because I wanted for you to, you know, grow up a little bit. I don't mean any offense with that, I just wanted you to grow up a little bit so, you know, you could look more like your dad. And honestly, I feel like that if I give you this, you're just gonna look like your dad. Or basic. I can't think.